Good evening to you. I believe we all have learned much from Lola and Chunting's sharing. Okay, for this evening, I will be sharing with you on the borrowing aspect of money management during this COVID time. Okay, but before I start to talk about, how to manage money, specifically the borrowing aspect of it, I would like to introduce my organization to you, Credit Counseling Singapore, in short CCS. We are a non-profit organization, a registered charity, and a member of National Council for Social Service. Now, we were launched in 2004, and we have conducted many talks on debt management, okay, and also talks and workshops about borrowing wisely and how to draw up a comprehensive budget, etc. Now, we also do one-to-one financial counseling to help people with a debt issue. All right. In fact, since 2004, we have conducted one-to-one debt counseling to more than 30,000 individuals and assisted about 7 out of 10 of them to work out a repayment arrangement known as the debt management program, which was mentioned just now by Lona. Now, why 7 out of 10? What happened to the other 3? Basically, there are people who just want to come to have a consultation with us, but there are also people in the so-called owe a little bit too much, that we are not able to work out a payment arrangement for them. So they would have to explore other solutions. Okay. Now, okay, let me go to the next slide. Is it okay to borrow money during this COVID-19 period? Okay. Now, I'll be sharing some ideas with you, and I hope you could take away the following points at the end of my sharing. Okay, next slide. Now, one is what not to do in this uncertain period. Okay, what not to do. And the next point is, what should you do in this uncertain period to better manage your finances? And I have to say, both Chunting and Lona have shared a lot of ideas with you, right? Now, and the third point is, be aware of some of the relief schemes and programs that may help you as a borrower. And again, the relief scheme have been extensively shared by Lorna. Okay, so she has taken away a lot of things that I need to talk about. Okay, so the question is, what are the do's and the don'ts? I'm going to share with you the 3 do's and 3 don'ts, and I will be starting with the 3 don'ts. Okay, what we shouldn't be doing during this crisis period. All right. Next slide, please. Thank you very much. All right. Don't borrow to pay for other loans. Especially don't use one credit card to pay for another credit card account. Now, if you have to resort to taking out cash advance from your credit card to pay for another credit card outstanding balance, I think you need to really take a look at the situation and perhaps really ask for help. Okay, and please also don't borrow from the licensed money lenders to pay for your credit cards or your bank loans. Why? Now, we know for credit cards, the average interest rate is about 24% to maybe about 28% a year. So it works out to at least 2% per month, right? It's already a lot of interest to be paid. But if I were to borrow from a licensed money lender, the interest charge will be more than 2% per month. On average, it's about 4%. So if you cannot pay your credit card debts, borrowing from the licensed money lenders is not going to solve the problem, but create bigger problem. So what do we need to do here? All right, just remember all the help scheme that Lorna has mentioned to you just now, earlier on. And if the help scheme still cannot solve your problem, then perhaps you may want to consider to come forward to seek help from us, Credit Counseling Singapore. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now, second point, please don't sign up new installment plan without considering PAO. Okay, it sounds like PAO, right? The meat bun, all right? So, but this is PAO. It starts with a P instead of a B. Okay, so PAO is P, purpose. What do I need to borrow for? Okay, why am I taking up a new loan? And of course, A is affordability. Very important. Whatever I want to borrow, I need to make sure I can afford to pay. And third, O is options. The question is, Have I explored all the options? Is borrowing the only option? And if it is, how much to borrow? Are there other options, who to borrow from and what do I buy? Okay, so that I don't incur a lot of costs. Next slide, please. Okay, so purpose, what do I need it for? Am I borrowing to replace a broken fridge? Am I getting a more powerful computer? Or am I signing up for a degree or maybe a course to upgrade myself? Now, I mean, of course, you will start thinking needs and wants. Okay, I mean, of course, I need a fridge, right? Otherwise, all my things will be spoiled if I could no fridge to keep my food. Okay, then the computer thing is that, yeah, I need a computer, but the question is my current computer broken? That's the question to ask. The next point is, of course, affordability. All right, can I afford it? Because when I take up a loan, I have to make sure that I can service the money installment payment, right? So after paying all my so-called usual living expenses, do I have money to still pay for my so-called new installment payment? That's the question to ask. If I don't have money to service my installment payment, that means I cannot afford it. And if I cannot afford it, I shouldn't be taking up a new loan. Then the next question is, can I continue to make payments until full payment? Now, to borrow, I may take 3 days or maybe 3 weeks to research on the items I want to purchase or the loan that I want to apply. But once I sign on the dotted line, when I bought the item, okay, it will require me easily 12 months or even longer to pay back. It's no longer 1 month or 2 months to pay back. It is easily 12 or longer to pay back. Then with this uncertain time now, the question is, am I very confident that I will continue to draw an income that I can pay for my so-called usual living expenses and at the same time service my money installment? Okay, if I cannot give a confirm, yes, I have money to pay, or I cannot confirm, I'm not sure whether I'm going to have money to pay in the longer run, then perhaps I may not be able to afford to take up a new loan. Okay, next point, next slide, please. Okay, then of course, have I explored all options? Like, is there a cheaper alternative? Because if I buy something a bit more economical, I will incur a smaller expense. I will need to pay lesser per month, meaning my burden is lesser. Just like the fridge. You can buy a $1,000 fridge. You can also buy a $3,000 fridge. If what you want is a fridge that keep your food so-called a bit longer fresh, can the $1,000 fridge serve the purpose? If we can, then perhaps we just settle for a $1,000 fridge, especially during this period of time when things are so uncertain. We do not want to incur a big expense that require us to service, add on to our burden. Okay, now wait, can I save up to buy? So the example of the computer, what I need is a computer. Of course, I want it fast, so I want something powerful. But the thing is that, again, can I afford to buy it? Am I sure I got the capacity to service it? If I can't quite answer the question in a definite way, then perhaps just wait. Be a little bit more patient to deal with the computer. I mean, it's a bit slower, yeah, but it still serves the purpose of you to surf the internet or to apply for a job or whatever. There's no need to buy it now. Okay. Then the thing is that can we consider other options? For example, I mean, I would like to upgrade myself. Perhaps go and explore. What are the schemes available? What are the grants available that you can tap on, so you do not have to take up a loan to burden yourself further? Or is there really a rush to? Can you wait a little bit longer, to make sure that you're financially stable, or you have finished another loan payment so that you can take up a new installment payment? You do not have to pay so-called from 300 to 500, but you can use your 300 that you have already finished servicing your earlier loan to pay for your new loan that you have just taken up. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, then of course, if you really think that you need to take a new loan, please don't rush into applying for a loan, especially those messages that you receive through WhatsApp or SMS. All these invitations received via WhatsApp and MSS, they can claim they are legitimate. They can say they are licensed, okay? But please, a licensed money lender under the law are not allowed to so-called advertise or solicit business through WhatsApp and SMSs, okay? So I repeat, please do not believe those SMSs and WhatsApp that offer you a quick loan, a cheap loan, okay? Do not contact the people who send you these messages. Do not make any inquiry on their offers, because these are all illegitimate and also could be a loan scam. All right. If you really want to borrow, the licensed money lender will require you to go to their office to sign a loan document. Okay. If they say they can transfer money to you, that is probably a scam. Okay. I mean, I come across a young person. Okay. She wanted to borrow money, and they will ask her to pay them first. You know, I cannot remember how much you want to borrow, but they will ask her to pay them first. And when she transferred money to them, and they will tell her that, oh, no, there's some problem. You need to transfer another X dollar to us before we can disburse the loan to you. So please do not believe those people who send you SMSs and WhatsApp messages, okay? And for licensed money lender, their monthly interest rate is capped at 4%. All right, anyone is going to charge more than that, please do not borrow from them. All right, next slide, please. Now, for last year, Jan to November, there are more than 1,700 reported cases of loan scam, amount to 6.8 billion. Now, we do not want to be one of the figure there, right? So please, again, I repeat, do not respond to text messages or phone calls offering cheap and fast loan. Next slide, please. Now, then you wonder, so how do you find out whether a licensed money lender is really licensed? Okay, you can go to the MinLaw website. Under the registry of money lenders, they will have a list of their licensed money lenders stated there. Okay, so you can do a check before you decide to approach any one of them to take up a new loan if you deem necessary. Okay, so go to the MinLaw website. Under register of money lenders, you will get a list of the money lenders who are licensed by the Ministry of Law. Okay, next slide, please. So I've touched on the 3 don'ts. So now I'm going to share with you the 3 do's. The 3 do's when managing our finances during COVID-19. Next slide, please. Now, drop a monthly budget. Chun Ting has mentioned in her sharing, okay, there's planning, there's implementation, and she has shared the step-by-step on how to draw up a budget, okay? So you can understand it is very important, very fundamental in money managing to have a budget. A lot of times people think of a budget as a diet. And when people think of a diet, people think of, oh, cannot eat this, cannot eat that. No fun at all, right? But frankly speaking, budget is not a diet, okay? Budget is, in a way, you can see it as an instruction sheet. Yes, an instruction sheet to tell your money where to go to. You decide, you decide whether you're going to, what are you going to spend on and how much you're going to spend on and on what items, all right? But you are the one responsible to bring your money to the items that you want to part with it. Okay, you have worked hard for your money, so you decide where it should go to. And in order to do that properly, you need to have a monthly budget so that you can follow the instruction sheet and use that money that you have allocated for the item to purchase the item, to purchase the service. Okay, next slide, please. Now, to draw up a budget, as I mentioned, Chun Ting has already shared with you the step-by-step. I didn't even touch on, knowing how much you earn. I could take it that we should know how much we earn. Then now the question is, list down all the expenses, okay? When you look at the cup of coffee in front of you, where does it come from? It can be from supermarket. It can be from, one of the coffee joint, okay? And you need to pay for it, right? If you are sitting in a very comfortable room that is cool, maybe your aircon is on. Where does electricity come from? From the utilities company. And the reason they supply to you is because you will have to pay for it, okay? So think of all the things that you need to pay for. Everything you are using, you're enjoying, you need to pay for, right? Then you decide how much you're going to spend on each item. And then, of course, very importantly is that you make sure the expenses must be equal or less than your income. Otherwise, we will be incurring debts, right? If I spend $2,001 per month, when I take home only $2,000, I will be incurring $1 debts, okay? So with this current situation, many of us face reduced income, okay? Then we need to adjust our spending to make sure that we do not spend more than our income, so that we do not have to so-called tap into our savings, if any. And for those of us who do not have a lot of savings, we do not want to incur unnecessary debts. Next slide, please. Okay, my internet is a bit slow, so I can't quite see the slide I'm going to see. Okay, now, if you want to draw a budget, MoneySense has come out with this, My MoneySense Expense Manager. It is a calculator, okay? So you can just key in the numbers on the various items that you think you're going to spend on, and it will help you to do the calculation, okay? So for those of you who like to do online, you may want to visit my MoneySense website to check on this, My MoneySense Expense Manager. Okay, it has got a very interesting feature that actually also teach you how to track your expenses. You see, having a budget is one thing, but tracking is another thing. If I did not track, I wouldn't know whether I am spending according to what I plan to spend. Okay, so having a money budget is the first thing to do. Second thing, you need to track. After tracking, you know whether you have under budgeted in some items or over budgeted in some other items. Then you can make the adjustment to make it more so-called more reflective of your actual spending. Now, for those of us who like to write, okay, who like to have hard copy, then please visit CCS website. We have a budget template, which is, if you go to our webpage, www.ccs.org.sg, you scroll all the way down, okay, all the way down on the extreme right column, you will be able to find this so-called download monthly budget template, all right? And then you can print it out, and then you can take a pen or a pencil and then just write on it, okay? Something you can hold on to it, okay, and check on it easily. Next slide, please. Okay, track and adjust expenses, as I mentioned, okay, we need to make sure that we are spending according to our instruction sheet, right? You know what we plan to spend. Now, earlier on, Chun Ting mentioned about fixed and variable expenses. I'm going to introduce another couple of terminologies, but similar, okay? We call it non-discretionary and discretionary expenses. Why non-discretionary? Because the payment is mandatory, like our town council bill, or because it's a contract thing required by law, okay? Because I use the utility, I use electricity, I have to pay, right? I sign up a handphone, that means I signed up contract, right? I have to pay my mobile line, okay? So these are non-discretionary. I cannot choose to so-called pay or don't pay. I have to pay, must pay. But there's another group of expenses, which is in a way discretionary, all right? The discretionary here means that I can choose how much to spend. For example, everybody need to eat, right? But I can choose to eat at hawker center. I can choose to eat at the eatery. I can choose to eat at the restaurant. And all these different places will cost me very differently, okay? Now, I need to eat, again, meals. When I go to work, I need to eat. The thing is that I can choose to so-called pack food, Okay, I can also choose to so-called buy food from the nearby places. All right, but how much I spend, I have so-called, to a certain extent, I have a choice. So that is why it's called discretionary expenses. Okay, next slide, please. I'm touching on the tips on the stretch your dollar, which I believe Chun Ting also shared in her presentation on when cash becomes tight. So she gave ideas on how to cut down expenses, like can you do without a helper, or perhaps go for group tuition instead of private tuition. So here just another few pointers, like shop with a grocery list and a budget in mind. If all I want to buy are 10 items and my budget is $50, then when I go to the supermarket, if there's any big sales, good sales, if it's not something I really need now, perhaps we can do without it. It's a lot of times we spend more money is because we buy things because we think that it's good price, it's having sale, you know, but in reality, we don't really need it. Then the other thing is to buy value for money house brand. Okay, then of course, explore lower cost recreational activities. For example, the whole family go for a movie, easily going to cost you, depending, even without the popcorns and soft drink, will easily cost you what, $60 for a family of 4. Maybe during this period, subscribe to some so-called online online recreational activities, you know, that you can watch the movie with just a $10 subscription. Okay, then the whole family can watch movie together, and it's only cost $10 subscription per month. Okay, as mentioned before, pack food from home. It doesn't mean that your expenses will become zero for food at work, but the incremental amount that you need to buy a bit more so that you can cook and bring to work probably is going to still give you some savings from buying the food from, you know, the nearby places. Okay, and of course some of us you know, like laze around. Okay, so the thing is, wake up on time. If I wake up on time, I can take public transport instead of catching a taxi or catching a Grab. Okay, next slide, please. Seek assistance. Now, if my problem is more than just doing some adjustment, I really cannot manage, okay, then please seek assistance. Seeking assistance is being brave because you acknowledge that you need help, right? So it is a brave thing to do, okay, and it's a responsible thing to do because you are trying to solve the problem before it gets too big. Next slide, please. Okay, I'm not going to go talk a lot about this because Lorna has touched on this convert unsecured loan debts into a term loan thing earlier on. She covered so many good schemes available to us, offered by the banks, right? So if need be, apply for this SFRP or consider the debt consolidation plan. Next slide, please. Now, for those of us who have licensed money lender loans, you can approach your licensed money lender. We can always ask for help. Can waive interest payment or not? Can waive late fee or not? Or maybe delay payments. My understanding is that the money lenders will review on the case-by-case basis whether to grant you what you ask of them. Okay, next slide, please. Now, in the event you go to the bank, you're not able to get the help scheme you need, or you go to the licensed money lender, you're not able to get the appeal granted, you know, or whatever they offer you can't quite solve your problem, then please come forward to CCS. CCS stands for Credit Counseling Singapore, all right? And we handle unsecured debts like credit cards, credit lines, ODs, unsecured personal loans, and money lenders loans. Next slide, please. Now, there are 3 steps to seek help from CCS. First, please visit our website, all right? Visit our website, okay, and then you can you can watch our video, all right? And there are other resources that you can read yourself. But we have a video for you to read, to watch, that tells you what are the things to pay attention, like the do's and the don'ts when managing a debt issue, what are the common collection actions taken by the creditors, you know, and So these are information that will help a person to manage his debt issue, all right? Then you can take our online management course, and then you can request for a counseling request package. Now, the counseling request package, you need to complete the package and submit it to us with supporting documents like your payslip, your CPF statement, your credit bureau report. Okay, when we receive your submission, we will contact you to fix an appointment for a one-to-one financial counseling session. Now, during the financial counseling session, our financial counselor will help you to draw up a monthly budget and advise you, what are the areas you perhaps have so-called higher than normal expenses, and what are the areas maybe you have underestimated. We will share with you ideas, but it's up to you to make the adjustment, right? And we will share with you how to, that means reduce expenses and improve incomes. And in the event you are suitable, all right, and possible to work out a payment plan, if you want to, we will then put up or not approve what you propose to pay them, okay? And if they were to approve it, so now you have to honor it. You just make sure every month you pay on time, in full, of what you have put up to ask them to let you pay. Next slide, please. So, the question, when faced with a financial crisis, is it okay to borrow money? I hope you have gotten some ideas. There are 3 do's and there are 3 don'ts. Next slide, please. The 3 don'ts. 1, don't borrow to pay for debts, specifically the credit card debts. Don't use one credit card to pay for another credit card. 2, don't sign up for new installment payment plan. Okay? There are always PAL to consider, right? And 3, don't fall into loan scams. All right? That will be very, very terrible, right? I mean, get yourself into a scam. And the 3 do's. Please draw up a budget, okay, to make sure that you really spend money on items that you want to spend, and make sure, point 2 will be to track and then make adjustment accordingly. And in the event you really cannot manage your financial commitment, please come forward to Credit Counseling Singapore to seek help, okay? And we'll see what we can do to assist you to work out hopefully a potential payment plan that is feasible for you to service, or help you to identify other solutions. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, I thank you all. So I want to just do a quick wrap up. First thing, please remember what Lola said. Talk to your bank if you need help. Yes, please go to talk to your bank. The bank wouldn't know what help you need unless you go forward and talk to them. Okay? Then what I'm going to say here is, if you talk to the bank and the bank are not able to give you the help that you really need to solve your debt problem, please come to CCS, Credit Counseling Singapore, and we'll see how we can assist you. Okay? And finally, but not least, I would like to quote what Chun Ting said earlier on: have faith. Okay? Have faith. But cannot just have faith without doing something. So please also have discipline. You need to have faith and have the discipline to get through this difficult period. Okay, thank you very much.